Yeah, so good day everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of SME Roundtable. And I'm your host, Egbuna Precious. Yes, briefly before we go into the program for today, I would like to tell you who we are and what we do. So we are Pels Consulting, a management consulting firm that provides services to aid organizations in achieving their growth and expansion targets. Pels Consulting provides professional services at an affordable price, and we always provide.
Those who will be giving us the presentation for today, and I'll be calling up on our first associates in person of Adeyemi Adenuga, who is a business advisory associate and also functions in the data and analytics unit of Pels Consulting. Adeyemi Adenuga, can we have you take over from me?
All right, good morning, Mr. Oladayo. Hi, everyone. My name is Adeyemi Adenuga, and I'll be running you through a review of a particular company that has been done, a research of a particular company that has been done for this business case review. So quickly, company A is a fintech company that seeks to bring financial services to people with no access to bank services, thereby improving financial and social inclusion. Now, this company was founded in 2018 in Nigeria, and the company has generated a series of fundings, which includes the Series A funding of 50 million naira in June 2019, and the Series B funding of $120 million in November 2019. Now, this company is a conglomerate, and then they offer services in different sectors, which includes transportation services, food and grocery delivery services, logistics services, payments for utility services, mobile phone sales, and then other essential services. Now, I'll be taking you through certain areas of the business, and then we'll be reviewing it. So we are expected during this review, you would actually see the leadership composition of the company. You see the innovation management, the competitors analysis, and the process. So these four major areas are the areas that I'll be taking you through on the business. I'll be reviewing these areas of the business, and then I'll also be sharing with you some challenges that SMEs face in leadership from the top management. Now, common leadership problems affecting SMEs are management experience factor, which is the lack knowledgeable and experienced owners and managers. Also, most SMEs do not employ the right leadership style. So there are many leadership styles. They are varying from the transactional leadership style to the transformation. There are many leadership
process. I would be directing some questions to the panelists to help us shed some light on his presentation. And my first question will go to Mr. Daniel Chukwuwazawom. One of the things that Adeyemi mentioned was that Company A had its board members as foreigners, its entire board members as foreigners. And we understand that the Code of Corporate Governance requires that at least there is a mix on the board structure. Mr. Daniel, what would you think is the cause for this distrust between foreign company owners, foreign CEOs, and Nigerians? in such that they are unable to like diversify the board structure to absorb Nigerians. So what would you think is the cause for this mistrust, despite the fact that they understand that Nigerians understand the market more? They still go ahead and establish with full foreigners on the board members. What do you think is the cause for this distrust in SMEs? Mr. Daniel.
Thank you, Dio. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
hear me?
absolutely clear. Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, having listened to the presenter, uh, you can see that the presenter mentioned leadership problems. And like you pointed out, um, the mix was not proper because, and I want to also answer that question, looking at the objective of this forum, problem of SMEs, even though we're actually using the company that he mentioned there as a case study. Whenever you have um, inappropriate leadership mix, that's the kind of thing that you see. Now, there are a whole lot of stakeholder theories, a whole lot of business theories that go about that. And when you look at what the government is doing, and most of the corporate governance codes all over the world, all they are just doing is trying to make sure that what we call information asymmetry is actually breached. Now, trying to bring more of transparency in the business. Now, apparently looking at that, the company, in the case study, they did not trust, the local management. So they decided to control the business all from away. But that is a major problem because yes, you may be in leadership. You must also understand that you cannot understand the operation of the business more than the operators themselves. So there's always supposed to have been a kind of mix and some element of autonomy so that there can be sense of belonging. Now, I don't know many of us that did management. That is why we say separation of management and ownership. Once you have separation of management and ownership, then the agency problem comes into play. No, so, but for every SME, it is important that we understand that you must have the right leadership mix so that those that understand the local environment and peradventure those that are foreigners, it may happen. But I know that most people that are listening to us may not fall into that category. So when you look at it or localize it, to our own environment, that woman or people that are listening to us now that have opened one shop or that is running one business, let even say, of course, yes, the people that you are running the business with, they are not foreigners, you are a Nigerian, you are the one running the business. Now, what kind of leadership structure do you have? That is exactly what the emphasis is trying to point out. What kind of leadership structure do you have in your own business? If you don't have the right mix in your management team, there is going to be problem. And that is part of the things that we have seen accounting for majority of failures of SMEs we have in Nigeria. You are the MD, you want to dictate anything that happens. You don't want to give anybody, if you are not there, nothing happens. You are not ready to delegate. You don't want to trust anybody. You just want to do it on your own. Everything about the business is within you. And whenever anything happens to you, the business goes under. That is exactly what happens in this case now. I want to believe that peradventure, if there had been some element of sense of belonging or ownership that will divert to maybe the local content or Nigerians, maybe they would have advised them better. They would have been, a way to have managed some of the problems they have. Maybe their problems or the effect of what the risk that crystallized may not have been as it is. So that is just a typical scenario of what you see whenever you have poor leadership mix in any business. I think I may need to stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. And I think the key point for me there is that if you don't have the right mix of leadership, in such that whenever you're not there, nothing happens. You are actually heading for a crash land. And thank you very much for that. I will be asking Mr. Akala Abiodun the next question. And my question is on competitors. The presenter mentioned that Company A had over 80 competition or competitors, as it were. And because of the nature of the business, being a fintech and having different services offering on a single app, there are so many competitors. Now, my question is, there's a saying that goes, if you can't beat them, you join them. But why is it that in the local environment, coming down to Nigeria now, it is really difficult for SMEs to explore or embrace partnerships and merger strategies? Mr. Akala Abiodun, can you please shed some light on this?
All right, thank you very much. Thanks. So, majorly, you see, competition for SMEs is a very key part of the business, and it is expected that before you structure your business or your business starts operation, it is expected that you also consider your competitors before you come up with a specific strategy that you want to pursue as a business. So in this case of company A, yeah, I'm sure they would have done a lot of analysis on this, and unfortunately, they have put themselves in a space whereby they want to compete with over 30 competitions from different sections of and different industries at the same time, and this let's also keep in mind that this kind of industry, these industries we are talking about, they have established business giants in them, people that already have processes and have their critical success factors already and knows how to play their game within the industry. So in this kind of industry, in this kind of industry, it is actually going to be very hard for them to compete as a new entrance into the market, for the fact that they are coming in with a very large chunk of fund doesn't guarantee success. It's not really about the money, in most cases, but looking at the competition as well. So you see that the nature of company A business, in terms of, let's look at the fintech, there are a lot of businesses already existing in this space. So for you to beat them, you really have to be able to like do something differently from what others have done. What I would have expected company A should do in this case is to look at every strategy that every organization within the sector is pursuing, and also from after this analysis is done, so I expect then that they should now look at areas of opportunities where they can try to carve a niche for themselves, and this way I believe they will be able to strive better in the various industries. And also one of the areas where I also think they would have improved is that if when they are venturing into different businesses, and if you can also look at the case study well, you also notice that they are trying to compete with aggression somehow, because I believe that company A should have maybe specialized and look at the strongholds in different geographical areas to say, okay, I want to pursue fintech in, say, this particular region of the country, because these so competitors, they are not very strong in that area. And then when they establish a niche in this area, they can now try to spread all over, then grow. So then grow with time, and they will be able to, at the end of the day, they might be able to meet up with the giants in this industry. So so majorly, So majorly, these are the key things that I see that is actually wrong with the competition for this company under review.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akala. My takeaway from your explanation is that company A should have focused more on specialization strategy. As much as you want to compete across board, you should have like done an analysis before starting up and say, okay, what area is less stressed in terms of competition, and specialize more in that part. Thank you very much for that insightful explanation. And now I will take a question from what you just said now and direct it to Mr. Balogun. Mr. Balogun, for the purpose of SMEs, medium scale organizations in Nigeria, I am of the opinion that, they should be looking more at joint ventures, mergers, just, come together and be stronger. But this is not the case in Nigeria. So Mr. Balogun, John Olawale, please, can you explain to us and tell us why small, medium scale enterprises in Nigeria find it difficult to collaborate, find it difficult to merge, and instead of merging, they stay apart and keep competing with each other? Mr. Balogun.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Oladayo. Okay, as we are aware of the business environment in Nigeria, one of the challenges that we've seen that SMEs have is that they don't want to collaborate. And one of the reasons why they don't want to collaborate, it is because of information. Some of our SME owners, the directors, the MDs, they more or less want to run solo, because the owner of the business is also the director, is the finance person, is the one running everything. So because it's the one running everything, there's just very much you can do as one person. If they set up a team of experts that come to say, you know what, this business we are doing and what we are going into is something we can look into the industry and collaborate with one or two other companies in order to eat the market big. Of course, that should be the case. But because what we found out is that most of these are SMEs and the owners don't have the right information, and they don't have the right information because of the structure of consulting in Nigeria, which we are all aware of. There are very few firms that they can approach within their budgets that will be able to help them, go into the market, do a market analysis, do a business analysis, look at the industry, and try to say, okay, these are the things that are applicable in this industry, and this is the way you can run in this industry. Fortunately, that's where we are, and that is what PELS is trying to do here. We are trying to come into the market, support SMEs, and tell them, you know what, if we look at your business and we see there are other opportunities in other sectors, or even other opportunities in the same sector, in which they can also collaborate, in which will also in turn support them and make the business stronger. We always give that advice. So these are one of the few things that we know that might be leading to businesses of collaborating. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. John. You have explained there that SMEs can, bake a bigger pie, have a bigger market share by collaboration. However, one of the reasons why they don't explore that is because they don't have enough information, and they can't even reach out to experts to help them see the benefits of collaboration, because they can't really afford some of those consulting or specialists or experts out there. And you also mentioned that that's one of the things PELS Consulting is coming into the market to. Give me a second. I'll be directing this question to another panelist, and this will be on financial management. And my question will be going to Mr. Balogun John Olawale. And I would like to know, so what are the financial foundations that are necessary for building a healthy and strong financial framework for a successful enterprise? Like, what do SMEs require to have a healthy and strong financial framework in place?
Okay. Thank you very much, Molada. So for an SME to have a strong and robust financial framework, they need to first start from the basics. So you need to first look at your business. For an ongoing SME, for example, you need to first look at your business as at today. Do you have processes like bank reconciliations? Do you have processes where you know have like a books of accounts, even if it's a simple Excel document that has all your costs and all your revenue? Do you have a structure in place where you separate personal spendings of the owners of the business from that of the company? Okay, these are some of the few questions an SME should ask itself. And when you ask yourself these questions and you find out that one or two of these it's a problem for you. For example, if you've not been keeping proper books of accounts, how would you know how to manage your finances? How would you know what to invest in? How do you know how much you spent? How would you even rate the company? How do you even know the performance of the business? So if all these things are not in place, it might create a difficult financial environment for our SMEs. So as we are all aware also, the whole world is now going into, this is the jet age where we are all going to the technological world. There are off-the-counter financial management tools that SMEs can buy that is not too expensive, that is off the counter they can buy, that will be managed for them online, where they would also be able to input their costs, input their revenue. This also assists in planning, even for the directors. Okay, so when you have the proper financial information of your business, it allows you to be able to plan. It allows you to budget properly. It allows you to see the future in your business. So for me, that would be some of the few contributions I have in terms of what SMEs can do in order to have a robust financial management system in place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. But I would like to ask a follow-up question there. So you have mentioned before that one of the reasons why SMEs don't have these things in place is because of the knowledge gap. What can they do to close this gap, considering the fact that sometimes it requires capital to get help from experts? So what can they do to close this kind of gap?
Okay, thank you. I know I can speak for us as Pels Consulting. That is what we are trying to do. So what we are trying to do here is to give the SMEs an affordable advisory service, because we know what the impact of an improved SME industry would have on the country as a whole. As we are aware today, the SMEs contribute about 84% of the existing businesses in Nigeria. And for most of them, we found out that the first 5 years, they actually fail because they don't have the right information, they don't have the right knowledge. And because of this is where we have come into the industry to say, you know what, even if you cannot afford the big names in the industry, the big consultants, okay, we have come to give you the same service at a reduced cost, and we can also grow with the business. We can also continue to support this business. This also is part of in quotes, a CSR program for us, in which we will also support the businesses from where they are to where they want to be. So that is where I think we as Pels Consulting is trying to bridge that knowledge gap in the SME industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. My next question will be on customer retention, talking about customer management and stakeholder management. And I will be directing it to Mr. Akala Abiodun. One of the issues the presenter mentioned, that Cynthia mentioned about company A, was that at some point they were having customer complaints, a whole lot of customer complaints. Now, my question to you, Mr. Abiodun, is what strategies can SMEs put in place for customer retention and stakeholder management? Mr. Abiodun.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So for me, so as a business, generally, including SMEs, majorly, first you need to first understand the composition of your stakeholders as a business. So so one of them, you have to understand who are your collaborators, who are your customers, and who are your suppliers. So because this set of people can make or mar your business as well. So I I expect that SMEs get frequent and timely feedbacks from their customers, their suppliers, and their collaborators. This way, it assists them to grow and to identify areas in which they can do more and do better. So they should often ask questions like, how can we serve this set of people better? How can we serve them better? So when we look at customer as a major part of a business stakeholder, so there are two segments to it. That's the customer acquisition and the customer retention as well. So, and these two are considered very important because at the stage of acquiring a customer, you first have to understand and know who your customers are. You really have to know what they want and how they want to be served. These are the key things that you should know at the process of acquiring your customer. Then this way you'll be able to think of your retention plan, that if my customer want this, then I should do this for them, then I'll be able to satisfy them. You should then, when you acquired your customer, your work has not stopped at that stage. You really still have to do more by trying to retain your customer. Then at this stage, you should then be asking yourself these questions or get feedbacks from them. How can we serve them better? How do you want us to okay, how have we been serving you, and how else do you want us to serve you to improve our process? Also, a very good way of doing this is also looking into your amongst your competitors and say, okay, how do my competitors serve their customers, and how happy are the customers satisfied with the services of my competitors as well? So this can give you an hint about what customers want, and this way you can also take out positive notes to improve your businesses in terms of making managing your stakeholders correctly. Also, like your collaborators, you also have to check, do a time-to-time check to understand, and suppliers to see that are they happy with the way you are running businesses with them. Are they making enough profit for themselves as well? You just don't have to look at your own part of the coin. You also have to see if they are happy with serving you as well, because if they are not happy, they can leak out your trade secrets and a lot more. So I believe, as an SME, when you are coming up, it's like just learning how to drive a car. You have a lot of functionalities on your dashboard, and this includes all of the factors that we have mentioned since the beginning of this section. So you really have to know who are the stakeholders of this business. How am I going to run my leadership style? What is the government laws that are related to this business? How do I want to manage my finances? And all of these things comes together to form a great synergy within your business, and it helps you to achieve operational excellence as well. So, all right, yeah, thank
Um, Thank you so much for that, for taking that question. We have another question now, and I will throw this open to any of the panelists. The question goes thus: it says, what kind of insights can company A derive from the data it already had on its customers before leaving the market? However, I would like you to like expand it beyond company A and look at SMEs. So basically, what kind of insights can SMEs derive from data? How can SMEs use customer information to get more insights on their businesses? I'll throw this open.
Okay, thank you. So for answer from companies A's perspective, they have a lot of data that is related to customer data. They understand the routes, where their customer, the customer's route, their direction, and their pattern of ordering, and how the feedbacks also they also get from customer as well. So I believe all of this that data, if it is well analyzed, you can draw a lot of insight from it. And of course, you may also, company A could also use this data to like to re-strategize and break into new markets, or break into new businesses, to carry out new businesses with this very powerful data that they must have gathered within their short stay in the market. And for SMEs, generally, the truth is data is actually king, because it's for you to have a successful business. One thing is really key, and that is data. You have to understand it to make decisions, data-driven decisions, rather than decisions that you just feel that is right. That is what I think is right. So you really have to look at what the data are saying, and you are able to derive insight from this data and implement them. And this way, we can guarantee you that you have a very successful business. So at Pairs Consulting, we also have this offer for you. We do data analysis, and this data analysis, don't worry, no matter the structure or the volume of the data, we have experts that can look into this data and translate the language that it speaks to you, and then you are able to use this to do well for your business in the long run or in the short run as well. Thank you.
So in addition to what Mr. Akala just said, so I just want to can you hear me, please?
Yes, please, we can.
Yes.
Okay, all right. In addition to what Mr. Akala just said, in terms of the data that company A has gathered, that data can be used for a lot of things. Those data can be shared with other companies in terms of, say, they collaborate in future, they decide to come back, as we talk about collaboration, they decide to come back and say, okay, they want to do something else, and now collaborate with other companies. They can use the data that have been gathered, because this is a lot of information. One, they've had information on the travel pattern of people in Lagos. They have information on the purchase of utilities, on purchase of cards, on purchase. They have information on so many things on their platform, and that information can be used in so many ways. So this data that has been gathered is huge, is massive, and it is something that the company might even use in future to support their business. Now, in terms of data gathering for SMEs, there's this saying that says data is king. So we believe that no matter what you want to do in this day and age of technology, in this day and age of the global village, in quotes, that we have now, there is nothing you want to do, no matter the kind of business you want to do, you need data to be able to do them. And this data you need is either historical information, future information, or the present information. because without this information, you will not be able to make proper organizational decisions. Without this information, for example, if you have data on a customer's, a particular customer base, okay, it is based on this data. You say, okay, looking at the whole Nigeria, I want to invest in something, say production of water. Which states, as of today, spends the highest amount of water? Depending on the state, you go in there, okay. Aside from that, what else? Which state makes the highest number of plastics? Where do we have the highest number of industries that makes plastics that we used to make my water? Okay, all this data is what you gather. After you've gathered this, it is based on that will now inform your decision on where to situate your business. So even before you start at all, it is important that data is being gathered that will be used, that will inform your decision in the business and in also your revenue streams that you plan to make in future. So for everybody listening, SMEs, whether you've started or you are looking to start, please, it is important that this data is gathered, and based on the data that is gathered, you can make informed business decisions. We at Pios Consulting are also looking into that, like Mr. Kala said. We have a team of experts that can work with you on what you want, on what other data from the market, data from customers, data that will inform your decision on your location for your business and all that. These are things that we also do, and we are here to support. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you noted one or two things. Thank you so much. So see you same time next week. Bye-bye.